Hi everyone. Today we're going to work on using the magic wand selection tool. It's a little bit similar to the quick selection, but it has different advantages. So let's go ahead and pull up the images we're going to use. Again, we're going to use another wall here at JVHS. If you guys download these images in your downloads folder, you'll be able to just drag it right on over to Photoshop. And as typical, I'm going to grab the tab and pull it down to have it in its own window. Let's go back to our images, and we're going to do this sunflower here. I'm going to drag it over. Don't drop it in the image. I'm going to drop it to the outside. And similarly, I'm going to pull the tab and work on this by itself. So we like to use the magic wand tool when you have many pixels of the same shade. I wouldn't necessarily use the magic wand on this sunflower itself, but I'm going to use it on the background because it has a very similar shades of blue is the magic wand's strength. So I'm going to go and find the magic wand tool. It's over here with our other selection tools. I'm going to click and hold by quick selection and go to the magic wand. Now the magic wand has a couple settings to it. First, you're going to check off. Right now I have my tolerance set at 24 and I have it set to contiguous or continuous as I like to think of it. And I also have it not on selection but add to selection. When you use the magic wand, you click on a pixel and it grabs all the pixels in similar shades, actually within 24 shades. That's our tolerance. I'm going to click here and it's going to make a selection. Now, it went off and selected all these pixels that are similar shade, but you see it did not jump over here or do this, and these ones are too far out of range. But if you'd like to, you could increase this tolerance and you'll grab a wider range of blue pixels. Let's go ahead and deselect that by going Control D on my keyboard. And I'm going to show you one thing. I'm going to uncheck contiguous. And what that's going to do is I'm going to come over here to the same area and let's make a selection. And it's going to select all these pixels, but it actually jumped over all these green pixels over into this area also. So that is the opposite of continuous. It allows you to move across portions that aren't similar in shade. We didn't grab all these pixels, um, but since I'm on the add to right here, I could click in this blue area up here, and it's going to add it to these marching ants. So I've got the top section added to this. I'm going to come over to here. We're missing this. Let me click one more time over here, and it looks like I have one more section down here in the corner. All right, so at this moment, I have the sky is selected. The marching ants are around the sky, but I don't want the sky. I want actually the opposite. Or in math, you've learned it sometimes. Another word for opposite would be inverse, and the inverse is going to grab the opposite. So there's two ways you can do that. We come up here to the select, up at your top toolbar, select, and go to inverse. Your shortcut is Shift Control I, or another way is to just right click, select inverse. And instead of the marching ants being around the outside, it is now around the sunflower itself. Now to move it to our C building wall, we're just going to move over to our move tool, our 4 black arrow, and we're just going to click and drag it on over to the building. All right, well, let's resize this. And as I said before, we only like to make images smaller. Do not take an image and increase the size. You will lose resolution and just make it blurry, pixelated, or Minecrafty. So we need to resize this. Our shortcut is, well, we need to edit this, right? So that's why we're going to go up to the edit and come down here. My favorite quick and easy one is free transform, or as you can see is Control T. All right, so let me click off and Control T on my keyboard. And please, please, please make sure you hold shift when you're resizing to hold proportion. Let's go right about there. Let's move it over. And you can still see we have our transform controls. We have that box around it. Just go ahead and hit enter to apply the transformation. And there we have our flower on the wall. Now there's a couple things we could do to make it look like it's actually painted on the wall. We could first on our layers toolbar move to the opacity, and we could always decrease that and just makes it a little bit opaque, a little bit transparent. I can move that up, or we can come over to layer blending mode, and instead of normal, go ahead and try one of these other ones. Or the quick and easy way is to click on the first one, and then go ahead and use the down arrow on your keyboard, and it scrolls through them. Dissolve, darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, darken color, lighten, screen, color dodge, you get the idea. We go down the bottom, see if there's one that you, soft light's kind of cool. It kind of blends into the wall there. One other thing, if you'd like to, so there we go. And the goal on this assignment is to add all of these images. And I chose all these images because they have very similar, very uniform backgrounds. Let me go and drag Batman logo in here. Now, Batman logo, oops, there it is at the top. Sorry about that. Let me grab the tab, pull it down. Now in this Batman logo, we would like to keep the inside of the Batman. So let me come up here to my magic wand. And this is one where I'm definitely going to want to click contiguous, okay? Because I do not, I'm going to select these pixels, click on the outside. It's going to grab all this black, and you notice it did not grab the black of the Batman logo on the inside because I did click contiguous or continuous. And again, right click, select inverse. So I'm not selecting the outer out of it, I'm going to select the inside. All right, there we go. Got my pixels on that logo, black arrow V or the move tool. And let's go ahead and drag this over and Control T, hold Shift as you resize. And where do we want Batman? Let's put that right above our door. There we go. I'm going to hold Shift and Alt to scale it from the center. And this would be a good one to maybe lower the opacity. All right, let me say one more thing. Let's come back here to the sunflower real quick. One more thing I want to point out. What you might want to do on your magic wand is play with this tolerance. Start off with a small number like 2 and see what happens when you select an area, how few pixels it selects. Control D for deselect. And let's try something like 84 and see how many pixels it actually starts to select into this green, because green is actually fairly similar to blue, just has a little bit of yellow in it, which we don't want that high of a tolerance. But play around with that a bit and get all of these images over to the wall. All right, hope you enjoyed this lesson. Peace.